Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fire Emblem Warriors Hyrule Edition. I'm just kidding, we're going to play some more Age of Calamity, and we're going to be continuing our showcase series with Mipha, Princess Mipha, Champion of the Zora. And in comparison to most characters in warrior games, she actually has an air of refinement that many characters lack, and I think a big part of that is just how graceful her moveset is, and how each of her AoE potentials seem almost purely incidental. Every attack that she has, to some degree, involves funneling enemies into a single area while you're focusing down one person. You are not wasting any time clearing large crowds with giant combos. Instead, you are focusing down enemies one at a time, and they just receive her undivided attention. She's a really fun character as long as you're able to keep your numbers up for damage purposes. All of her combos do a very good job of keeping the damage coming, and that's exactly what we have here. So to start things off though, the first combo I want to point out is her combo 4, your regular attacks followed by a strong attack. This creates a bubble that you can use for your unique attack to teleport out of the water ball, and then continuing her attacks that way. Over time, you're going to get an ability that you'll discover, which allows you to do splash damage on the way out, which can be very useful for general damage purposes. But for the most part, her unique attack is the thing that you use to constantly hit weak points and then dodge out of there and continuing the assaults all over again with another combo 4. Another combo I want to point out is also her combo 6. Combo 6 hits many times before the attack even begins, and then it doesn't result in you creating a fountain. Instead, it's going to be a giant geyser, and then you can go ahead and follow that up with another combo 4, which creates something that functions as a fountain, and pretty much you're going to be sticking on top of them like glue until you're ready to detach from them with your dodges. She's a fairly easy character to get the hang of, and like I mentioned earlier, her AoE potential may not be as blatantly obvious. Like I said, it's purely incidental, where you're doing regular combos that bunch enemies up together, and by focusing down the objectives one at a time, you're going to inevitably build up meter. She's a very good character if you have plenty of magic rods to spare, since for the most part her regular combos don't necessarily keep enemies locked in. Even her combo 6, while like with every other combo 6, does have the ability to create weak point gauges. Particularly on harder difficulties, you may not have very much success with stasising, canceling out with stasis, and then continuing another combo, simply because the attacks don't function like that for general damage purposes. She's a character that's meant to do lots and lots of damage over time, and she's not the kind of character that has the burst damage for characters that tend to do really big, ginormous hits. Mipha is a character all about sticking to your objective, and I think her playstyle, or all that water that she does to draw everyone together, and how she's able to interact with fountains and kind of teleport to them with her unique action, is a very big part of that, and what makes her so fun. One other thing I want to note too is that when she's in the air with her fountains, she's able to hit 4 times, and then you can finish things off with a strong attack, which again gets you out of there. It's also another good disengage move that you can make very good use of for the purposes of putting yourself into decent range. Otherwise though, there isn't really much else I can say about Mipha. She's a fairly intuitive character. She's really slick, and I think for the most part, if you were the kind of person that likes refinement in your Warriors games, I don't know who you guys are, but I'm pretty sure you guys exist, then Mipha is definitely someone you want to consider. And we're going to be running a map real shortly and show you just exactly how she functions in a typical scenario. Let's go ahead, have a look at that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started by going to Invading Terrors. This is a Mipha exclusive map, so this could function as sort of a walkthrough for people that aren't used to it. Also, I need to double check, make sure that we're on very hard. Yep. And we're going to go ahead and do this one without cooking. I did mention in a previous video, I think it was the Urbosa video, where I said that I don't really want to use cooking for the purposes of these demonstrations, just because I want to show what an unaugmented version of that. Obviously, if you have cooking and you feel like you're struggling a little bit, feel free to put on as many recipes as you'd like, but for the purposes of today's demonstration, I want to show you what she's like without cooking, and if you decide to go for that yourself, then it'll be a lot easier for you when it's your time to do it. So let's go ahead. let's begin. So one thing I wanted to point out too about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is that like they've streamlined it in such a way that if you thematically enjoy a character but you're not super familiar with their moveset, there are plenty of things that you can do to kind of even the odds. So obviously the lightning rods, the ability to use magic to expose weak point gauges whenever, means that you don't necessarily need to have super optimized combo. The same thing can be said for the use of, what's it called, the use of stasis, so that if you're not used to the moveset and how to do proper weak point gauge breaking with your combos, then you can use stasis to give yourself a little bit of more room to move around in. It's really, really nice too, because like I said, the use of various resources that help streamline the process, these go a long way to helping people decide what character they like to use, and more often than not, they would like to prioritize characters that they love, characters that they enjoy. And I know that Mipha has quite a few fans as well, so she's definitely a very good pick and fairly intuitive, like I mentioned earlier on in this video, that she's the character that has a lot of pretty simple to understand tools, so yeah. Let's do a combo 6, hit so many times. Not quite enough to break. And luckily, you can use the strong attack while in the air to disengage, so that's helpful. Now, normally whenever it comes to breaking gauges, when you do a combo 4, the moment that bubble comes out, it actually cancels out the stasis, which is a bit unfortunate. I don't know why that is, that's just how the game is. Your guess is as good as mine. You're gonna see it right now. Yeah, the moment it comes out. I'm going to assume like it might be a balancing thing because it hits so many times. I don't know. 4 hits, strong attack. We don't need to go for a weak point punish. Ooh, and we leveled up, so we got ourselves a full heal and some free special that we can burn. Don't mind if I do. Oh wait, let's dodge this. So usually when I'm beginning to break the gauges, I would begin with a combo 4, use that bubble to sort of work away at the weak point gauge, then go into stasis, dodge cancel that stasis into a combo 6. Oh, that's another Ice Guardian, or the first Ice Guardian rather. That was a combo 5 into a combo 6 this time. Remember, you don't want to stick around for too long. Oh, I messed up the dodging so badly that time. Okay. So yeah, when you're doing the aerial attacks, you don't want to stick around for too long. 4 hits is the most you can do, but just to be safe, you may want to disengage with a strong attack a little bit earlier, because if they jump up in the air, then you are wide open to attack. Especially with Guardians. Guardians have attacks like that. Then you also have like the Heatox, who has the attacks where they stamp the ground with both hands. You want to be clear of those places. There we go. I hope I can break this in time. No, I can't. That's okay. So, one thing you might notice too about Mipha's special is that you'll heal 3 hearts. It's not the most healing in the world, but it does come in handy for the purposes of just keeping yourself alive. Should be fairly obvious, I know, but I did notice that on harder difficulties, if I have about 3 hearts, it just brings me down to a quarter heart. So I think in most scenarios, it gives you an extra hit most of the time. Okay, so whenever I want to build up special, I just find a group of enemies, and this is what I meant when I said that it's purely incidental when she has AoE, because the moment you do a combo 4, you can use your unique attack to teleport through that water. There is an Electric Guardian nearby, so we can go for broke with our lightning rods a bit. And here's some more AoE, building up some special that we don't need. If there's a Flying Guardian, then I may be inclined to use. So again, as soon as that bubble comes out, you can kind of let them swim in there for a bit, build a little bit of extra meter, and then use your unique attack. Or unique action. You might as well burn a little bit more meter here. Ooh, and there's a Flying Guardian nearby as well that I may wish to use this on. Yes, might as well burn both of these. Why not? We're here now. No, I don't want to mess with that. I do not feel confident in my ability to dodge. Oh, and just like that, we fully healed ourselves. Go us. And again, using your unique action to teleport yourself above them, hitting them in the air will hit the weak points, which just gives you a little bit more hits for the weak point gauge. If there's a tiny bit left over, I'd say that Mipha is one of the better ones for just picking up that extra slack. Oh, I still got hit. See, that's what I meant when it's important to disengage early. Okay. So here's the thing about this particular map. There is a Malice Guardian on the west side of the map. And the thing is... Oh. Hang on. Okay, on the west side of the map, there is a Malice Guardian. There is also one on the east side of the map, a small Guardian. And by the time we finish these three guys that I'm fighting right now... By the time I finish fighting these three guys, then it should have caught up to us. Again, if you see that weak point gauge disappear, feel free to use your unique actions to teleport yourself above them. And again, just get that little final... pick up that slack. This is dizzying. Such a graceful character. They did a really good job of characterizing each character with their movesets. Usually with the stasis, just stasis them, then combo 6 them. Because it hits so many times, and like I said, a lot of Mipha's potential for breaking weak point gauges is just constantly wearing it down. You're not doing massive attacks, massive burst combos in order to bring that about. You're just getting all those little hits and then being very perceptive over all your different options. Oh yeah, also I did show you the weapon of Mipha, but honestly it's not particularly optimized. That also might be one of the other components here. So in terms of overall, I'd say that overall that like weapon attack speed could be useful, attack damage would be useful, special charge up would be nice for the purposes of constantly keeping the pressure on your enemy. Like generally the universal stuff, I'd say, would be my recommendations for weapon seals. Oh, see? A little bit left over. That's okay. We have a Mipha for that. Also, the thing is, it is raining right now in this particular map, so you just use electricity. Combo 4 into a teleport. Heal ourselves a little bit. Oh, what is happening? I did a combo for that, but that was a huge mistake on my end. I am so sorry for you guys that had to watch that. That was another combo 4. But, no one needed to see that, evidently. Will this work? Oh, it did. You can also use your combo 6 to interrupt the charge if you wish. Alright. Yeah, sorry about that last combo. I was not expecting the camera to suddenly throw caution to the wind and betray all of us. I'm just as much of a victim in this as you guys, I promise. But yeah, that's Mipha. Very graceful, very slick, very, very interesting style of play. Like I said, her playstyle isn't just about big combos that delete the weak point gauge. It's about constantly like wearing it down, constantly pressuring your enemy. And like I said, because of how her attacks have that large area of effect to them, that every enemy that's around you will help support that meter buildup, which again keeps that pressure going on. Mipha has plenty of options, and also, like I mentioned at the beginning of the demonstration, there are so many things that you can do to bring about that weak point gauge that if it's just a character you're interested in but don't necessarily have all the necessary upgrades, there are certain workarounds that you can use, whether it's your elemental rods or your stasis or any of your other Sheikah runes. Really, just experimenting with those will go a long way in helping a character feel a little bit easier to use before you've actually had them completed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this particular warrior showcase, and I hope to see you guys next time as we cover the last of the champions, and I hope to see you guys then when that happens. Until then, take care.